Hey, what's going on, everyone? So, I decided to do a sort of split between content. I realized that my uploads are far too infrequent for me to expect consistent growth at the rate things are going. So, in between those heavily edited videos to take a little longer to make, I figured it'd be easier to capitalize on events and things with more toned down video formats that allow me to slip in that slim window of opportunity. I'm pretty blunt. I'm doing this shit for views, you know? I figured I'd kick this bullshit off by talking about something that I notice being more and more apparent as time goes on with internet culture, and that is cancel culture. I wanted to do this exacerbated expose where I dive deep into the psychological dissonance required to dismiss a being's entire existence based off subjective approval and bias. How a YouTuber or entity in general can be heralded in one moment, and how, aside from the most prolific offenders, they commit the most mundane, or what I consider to be the most typical missteps a human is bound to make in the trudge of life we all commit to. And this group of morally deluded, self-important grandstanders make judicial decree on people like they're entitled to someone's existence, you know? It's dystopian to me how not only at the same time are we dealing with that, but, and I feel quarantine has accelerated this, we've allowed ourselves to be so indoctrinated in our opinions and viewpoints that we target opposing thought and logic as if it opposes everyone. That, in my opinion, when you boil down the semantics and dynamics of cancel culture, is exactly what it is. My personal unapproval of something must now be shared universally. When a man has a new and tailored suit, and as he's stepping out the door heading into work, he spills coffee on it and stains it, it ruins his day. However, cancel culture would decide that that moment should ruin everyone's day. It is not enough that my problems are problematic for me, but these problems should be the same level of significance for everyone. In that regard, that's why I make the claim that cancel culture is uniquely a first world issue. When you take non-issues and make them issues, the problem is that you don't have problems. More specifically, I feel like the problem isn't a lack of problems, it is a lack of compelling problem. People go through mundane struggles and find them Herculean because it's all they know. And the disconnect with other people is that meanwhile, in the same space, at the same time, someone's holding the limp body of their brother after a drive-by gone wrong. Which begs the question, can a utopian society exist? In my opinion, no. I think utopia is not only a philosophical and literal impossibility, but I also feel like if we as human beings were somehow able to successfully acclaim a utopian society, that would lead to a purposeless existence. Something we as human beings cannot fathom. Literally, we cannot physically imagine an existence where it serves zero purpose, because that is conceptually nothing. And we cannot visualize that with our finite understanding. Let me give you an analogy, right? Human beings are like sled dogs. Sled dogs have been bred to pull against weight. And without a weight to pull against, sled dogs become purposeless and depressed. We're the same way. We can't have utopia because the drive to build a utopia in the first place originated from having problems. And once we are without problems, we lose purpose and it'll all collapse anyway. The true irony of a utopian society. However, I feel to an extent, cancel culture or outrage culture is more malicious than that, because outrage culture seeks to create universal problems in society. Like I said, you spilling your milk on your suit can ruin your day in varying degrees depending on your perspective. But outrage culture tries to ruin everyone's day, because the mindset is you need to care about this the same way I do at the same magnitude. If you don't believe me, let me say this. Police brutality is over-sensationalized in modern media. As a country, we are so blessed with our first world amenities that when a couple black people get killed, we as a collective of 350 million Americans focus on it for weeks. While in Syria, 200 innocents just got bombed and eradicated in one single day. Do I actually believe those sentiments? Fuck no. However, when you heard me say that, you should take a pause to think about the reaction you had towards it. Were you so against it you felt I should be deplatformed for simply saying it? Or are you so righteously in agreement that you felt anyone who went against me was objectively wrong and should be deplatformed for speaking against me? Did you hear that utterance and simply contemplated unsubscribing? Are you so disconnected from your fellow man that our philosophical difference in perspective made you wish genuine death on me? I think you should stop and recognize that depending on how exacerbated your reaction was is how currently radicalized your political ideologies are. I'm just saying. However, let me say this, right? You should not chase a future without problems. Rather, you should chase a future with different problems. steps. I understand that perfection itself is realistically unattainable. However, that does not mean we should not strive for it. Instead of a world where the persistent problems are racial and class-based inequality, disproportionate murder statistics, and fascism, we should as a collective aim for a world where our biggest problems is colonizing Mars, searching for cures to diseases that have haunted us for eons, exploring concepts like art and the meaning of life. I want you to know that perfection is unobtainable, but that does not mean we should not strive for it. I'm not above this either. I'm just as susceptible to this as you are, but I feel like a failure for introspection makes you more susceptible for fallacies and radical ideologies to sculpt your worldview. We should be careful as to how we approach things. A militant and utterly inflexible mindset, in my opinion, is an individual so removed from other individuals, they sculpt the world based around their perspective, and a lack of varying perspective, a lack of understanding, and the audacity to believe we should all adopt one singular understanding is why we're at where we're at socially and academically in the first place, among other variables. I just don't have time to explore right now. I'm sorry. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you all for watching. This has been ArchWizard CJ. I wish you all a good morrow, and I'm off for the time being.
How did I get?
Perhaps I've misjudged. My master, I have
The Emperor of Extermination strikes again. Palpatine closes out the match with the tough type of diplomacy he's become famous for.